Shalom, real quick, giving all praise to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahshua, Bashem, Rakakwadash. Shalom to 144,000 rest elect out there. Shalom to you all. This is why we don't go on these other platforms, because this guy, the Saint, said that he called being an Israelite how do you say it? He said it was a fake religion or a made up religion. So right then and there, I got up, and first of all, I'm not going to go on the show in the first place. But if I did happen to go on the show, and he came to the conclusion you got a fake religion and what do you say, fake made up religion. So he has absolutely no respect, for what we believe in. So I mean, what's the point of going on these fucking shows? Anyway, let me just go let you listen.
So the first thing is identity. So when we identify as Israelites, that puts us in the Israelite world as far as, okay, if we're Israelites, what God do they have? What laws do they serve? What rules, what code of conduct? How do they conduct themselves? For us as Israelites, once we determine that gives us something to go with. Most black people would say, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm an atheist, but that's extremely subjective, because you can stop being a Christian at any point. Christianity is not an identity. Muslim is not an identity. Atheist, none of those are identities. So being an Israelite for us is about, that's your identity more than anything else.
And I want to give the audience a head.
Okay, this is him. This is the Saint, I guess. Says Saint. I guess this is him or somebody repping him or whatever. You can read it right there.
Heads up, I'll be cutting in at various points to speed up the conversation. We do have time constraints, so just a heads up to everyone that I'll be chopping in periodically. So what is the relevance of saying that it's a religion that's guided by a book if you're suggesting that it's in your blood? If it's in your blood, then why do you even need the book? Shouldn't it just be written in your DNA?
Yeah, that sounds like the Matrix, man. We don't live in a Matrix where you just get zapped with information. If that was the case, we would have never lost our identity as being an Israelite. So like any culture, any nation that has a culture, Chinese people that have a culture, they have an oral and written tradition of it. Every nation has an oral and written tradition. When we were brought over here as slaves, the oral lasted for some time. Like you can find, we have some people that their family line never forgot that they were Israelites. But then for the most part, that oral history was wiped away to take away your ability to read or write. Now the written part is wiped away. And so it's not so much that you need it written down. Like even the Bible says the law will be written in our hearts. So I don't necessarily need the law I don't have to read it every day to follow it. But I had to get to that point. So that's the importance of understanding who you are, because black people, for the most part in America, when it comes to their identity, they don't have none. They don't have no code. Read, just like anything, you have to learn.
Is that true? You folks on the internet say the most ludicrous things. You said black people in America don't have any culture. Is that true?
Yeah, we have culture in the sense of when you start talking about black people with culture, you're gonna have to look at the roots of it all. So they're gonna talk about their music, which we have a music culture. We have this culture. When Israelites are talking about culture, we talk about the God we serve, the laws we serve. The God that most black people serve is a false God or a fake one, like most people are.
You actually went away from what I asked you. That's a red herring. So I challenged your point about, you said black people don't have culture.
Right.
So you're conceding, yes, black people do have culture. You were exaggerating.
No, I'm not. I'm saying.
Okay, so you're sticking with the idea that black people in America do not have culture.
No, I'm sticking with that because culture that black people have, music is. If you want to, okay, here's what, maybe this will help for those in your world understand. If you think music is a culture, by all means, black people have it. If you think
this place is bigger than I thought.
So we've only got 1 hour. Could you?
The culture is our actual identity, and that was taken away from us. That's
what we have now is a subculture. When the slavery spoke to Hebrew, they forced us to speak English. We ate ham hocks. We went to Christians. We taught our children and their children, Christianity. So that's our culture, that we're Christians, we're Baptists, we eat pork, we like gospel music, R&B, so forth. A culture is anything you make of it. Part of the way we cook is based upon, partially, if you were in Africa, cooked a certain way. Slave master gave you the way he wanted his food made, and you kind of blended them together. So we do have a culture, but our true culture is that we're the Israelites. So you go into Israel, the Lord, statutes, and commandments.
That's why we say. So we could be talking past each other. I could be.
We're not talking past each other. If you're not a linguist or a cultural anthropologist, you don't get to redefine words in general and in particular those that relate to culture. So an attempt to suggest that black people in America don't have culture because they don't abide by your made-up religion is fairly ludicrous.
I already said made-up religion. But that's when you get out. You can see the smirk on his face. So he says it in a matter of fact way. You're fake. What do you say? So why would I want to continue to be
past
on this
each other?
show?
If you're not a linguist or a cultural anthropologist, you don't get to redefine words in general and in particular those that relate to culture. So an attempt to suggest that black people in America don't have culture because they don't abide by your made-up religion is fairly ludicrous.
Don't abide by your made-up religion. I would leave. I said, look, I'm leaving. First of all, I wouldn't go on in the first place.
And insulting, when in actual fact, the concept of culture has been defined quite clearly. It consists of some of the following things. This is not exhaustive. Folkways, mores.
Chinese eat cats and scorpions and shit. That's part of their culture. That's part of their culture. They speak Chinese instead of Japanese. That's part of their culture.
It's religion, language, dialect, clothing, ways of being, food, holidays, and many other things. So you don't get to redefine it because it's out of line with the fake religion that you created.
What are the black holidays?
He said, because the fake religion that you created. He said, made up religion, then fake religion. He didn't say, I think it's a fake. He said it's a fake religion. Made up and fake. Why in the fuck is you on the show? Why'd you go on this guy's platform in the first place?
Holidays.
Kwanzaa, I don't celebrate it, but here's my point. With regards to, no, I don't celebrate it because I have a different culture.
Celebrating it.
1 second. No, don't interrupt. Don't interrupt, and don't fake laugh either. Don't fake laugh because I've seen it a million times, and don't interrupt. So here's my point.
You say
Hold on 1 second.
You just told a nigga that don't laugh, don't cry, don't do nothing, man. Fuck you, nigga. But you still on the show, on the platform, laughing it up, man. Fuck this nigga, man.
Hold on 1 second. We already pointed out that culture had a definition before you and I started this conversation, so you don't get to create a new definition. Furthermore, I said it's a non-exhaustive list that consists of some of those things. And then you asked for an example.
What are we learning from this? Nothing.
I gave you a very clear example. Furthermore, in my case, we practice Sasson culture. Culture is something that can be developed over time or it can be developed in a moment. For example, the fake religion that you follow, much of what it is.
Third time. He said that fake religion that you follow. And you can see the cop over here, he's not feeling good. Why in the fuck did you go on the show in the first place? That should be a topic too.
Was developed by Europeans meeting together and creating the religion. I yield the floor.
Thank you.
He said, in other words, us calling ourselves Jews, we got it from white people that they made up. Oh, them, I like what they like. Let's say we got it.
I don't know if you muted me or not.
No, sir, I would never do that to you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I did not mute you. If anyone in the chat was unable to hear the gentleman, please
No,
put a two.
No, that's cool. Long as if you said you didn't do it, that's cool.
Yeah.
By you reading your definition of culture, you prove we don't. That's why I asked you holidays. You say Kwanzaa. Most black people celebrate Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Memorial Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, all your.
And that became part of Jake's culture. Because our women, they were all fucked up about the food stamps because Thanksgiving coming up. And you got to have Thanksgiving. It's a must because that's a part of your culture. Where'd you get the culture from? The fucking white man.
European religions. The Israelites do not celebrate or consort with anything European. So the fact that you say Kwanzaa makes you look foolish. It doesn't make me look foolish. That was a brother that started that.
No, impossible.
It definitely is possible because Kwanzaa was created by a brother in Chicago in the 70s. So then you're saying that black people didn't have no culture of holidays until the 70s. Even Black History Month is European.
You're abusing language at this point. It's very disingenuous.
I'm
So
not-
the fact of the matter is that culture does not hang on the singular point of having a holiday or not having a holiday.
Here's what
Furthermore,
What am I learning from this? Oh, Captain Cesare, Hebrew Israelite. I want to learn the fact more about my Hebrew Israelite heritage. What am I learning here?
furthermore,
Go now.
Go ahead.
You interrupted me now, though. I
already warned everyone that I would be cutting into the conversation at various points.
I do know.
So again, you're being dishonest there.
I'm not-
but I will yield the floor to you.
I'm not being dishonest. I just like to have fun too. I'm good at this. That's why the Israelites said you ain't talk to Cap. So now when you look up concept of
No, I'm the best at this.
You're not.
The only reason that they think that you're doing anything is because they're 2 standard deviations below the mean in IQ, which is typical of religious people.
The fact that you think black people have a culture, then by the definition, shared beliefs, values, practices, material items define a group, learn through socialization, express symbols, language, norms, rituals. Now you show me where black people collectively have those things that define a culture, and then I'll show you where the Israelites, which is not a made-up religion, it's not even a religion. In a religion, anybody can be that religion. For Israelites, you have to be an Israelite to be an Israelite. So you can't call us a religion. So a white person can't be an Israelite, but a white person, African, Chinese, and Arab can all be Christian or Muslim or anything else. But you cannot be that. Why? Because our culture prohibits that. That's the difference between us and whatever it is. You said you follow Sasson.
You're not speaking of a culture. One moment. You're confusing terms. The problem is that you are doing a very poor job with diction, and as a result, you're mixing in the concept of ethnicity, culture, and race. You're suggesting that
He insulted you again. You're doing a very poor job in diction.
race is a biological reality. You see, and another group cannot take on a biological reality, but you're meshing that up with ethnicity and religion. That's the problem here. So you need to pull those things apart. So first off, let me show you how messy what you're talking about is. Would you be so kind as to define the racial features that clarify who is a Hebrew? I'm gonna see if I can get a pen. So I got a pen here.
You don't even need a pen because you sound more European the more you talk. You see how you just said,
No, don't run. I'm gonna get a pen. Don't run.
wait,
Go ahead.
Say that. I said you don't need a pen. I said you sound.
No, I'm gonna take this and write this down. What are the racial features that define the Hebrew Israelite?
Write this down. Marquette.
Real quick, give you 2 precepts. Jeremiah 12:9, Revelation 7:9. You're going to have Israelites looking like everybody.
Is extremely European and Eurocentric.
Don't run. What are the features that define a Hebrew Israelite? You don't know who you are?
Why
thought you know who you are.
are you interrupting? Who's running from the question?
What are we learning here from y'all? Somebody help me out. Maybe y'all learning something. I ain't learning. Captain Zariak, he's a Hebrew Israelite priest of ISBK. I can learn about I can finally learn what being an Israelite is like. This is nothing but bad. This is going nowhere.
I want you to
Answer it.
I just want you to write these things down. Marquette is Eurocentric in his thought process because according to the Bible, it does not say if you have a big nose, a big head, hair, that makes you an Israelite. It doesn't say that. In the Bible, it says if you are the seed of the Israelites, you're an Israelite. Only Eurocentric Europeans and those that follow them think that you're who you are by the size of your head, the size of your feet, your skin tone, your complexion. Those are all Eurocentric ideas. Those are not Israelite ideas. That's not. Can you show my? So I've answered your question. Now my
Okay. No, you've not answered the question. So if you don't mind, I'd like to make sure that we can pin it down. No, 1 second. I'd like to make sure we can pin it down. So I asked you, because you've defined it as a racial group. So what I'm asking you is to define the things that are observable in that racial group, because you've stated that you are unlike other groups. So being that you're unlike other groups, tell me how I might recognize you. And I'll give you an example since you seem to be misunderstanding. If I were to say that someone is Samoan, I might be able to give you some metrics that define them as such. If I say that someone belongs to the Negroid, Caucasoid, Mongoloid category, I can give you some specifics. So I'm asking you, you're a Hebrew Israelite. What are the racial features of the Hebrew so that we can identify some similarities which constitute a group belonging? I'll yield the floor.
My favorite.
I'm going to write down what are the similarities that consist of your group.
My favorite phrase is listening is an art. You use the word race. I use more so the word ethnicity. So, ethnically speaking, you are the seed of your father. So, example, we would see the world would see Bob Marley as a black man. We would see Bob Marley as a white man because of who his father is. So now when we have talking points, when we have general talking points, what you're saying, we'll say, well, black people look like this generally. Black people have kinky hair generally. But Africans also have kinky hair, and we're not African either. So we don't go by Darwinism. We don't go by Eurocentric thoughts and ideologies and their beliefs. We go by the seed of your father. And so you identify Israelites by the laws they keep. You might see them with fringes. You might see women dressed a certain way. You might see the feast days we keep.
So now you're talking about behaviors. So you keep running. You'll just define something, and then I'll assert that that's the wrong definition, and then you'll run on to something else.
So, for example, Marquette, is your father a so-called?
No, we don't have to run to that. What are the racial features of the Hebrew Israelites so that I can write it down?
And read where that's an identifier for Israelites in the Bible. So we don't go by racial features. That's why I use Bob Marley as an example. Bob Marley has a black mother.
Okay, I want to make sure real quick. I just want to make sure we're understanding. So you're saying you do not go by racial features, which is to say biological markers. Is that correct?
No.
2025 was a terrifying time to be a child. Millions around the world faced unimaginable loss.
We see Bob Marley, they call him black. Whenever we say Bob Marley is a white man, they say you're full of crap, because when I look at Bob Marley, what does he have? Black features or black skin tone. But it's
I heard that the first time. You don't have to repeat it. I'm asking you, what are the racial features of the Hebrew Israelites? If you're saying there are none, just say that and I'll write it down. But it seems as though you're tap dancing. Are there racial features or are there no racial features of the Hebrew Israelites? And when we say race, we're talking about that which is biological. I yield the floor. Which is it?
Before I answer again, can you give me...
Just answer. You don't have to preface it.
No, I do want to preface it. When you say racial features, can you tell me what you're saying the racial features are?
Don't answer a question with a question. The problem is that you are in a lack of knowledge, and now having been exposed, you're now questioning me. You see, instead of saying, I don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to say, I don't know. I asked you what you are, what your group is, and you don't know. Just say you don't know.
So here's why I answer the way I answer. And
No, you didn't answer. You asked a question. You didn't answer. You asked a question. That makes it a response, not an answer. Again, I'm a master of language. So please be accurate.
Because I asked you a question the third time, you didn't understand the answer. So I have to dumb it down for you. That's the difference.
What are the chances that you have to dumb something down? Now, what are the racial features of the Hebrew Israelites? It's fundamental.
There is no set racial features for Israelites. There is no identifier where if they got this nose, they're an Israelite. They got this complexion, they're an Israelite. If they got this color eyes, they're an Israelite. That's Eurocentric teaching that you're doing. That's all.
How's that Eurocentric?
Because
How's that Eurocentric?
Eminem would say, if their brain is this size, they're like this.
Wait, how's that Eurocentric?
Okay, tell me the black people that came up with this concept.
Stop asking me questions. I'm asking you. How is that Eurocentric?
That's what a debate is. A debate is asking.
Yes, but it's your term, so you have to define your term. It's not my term, your term. So I'm asking you, how is it Eurocentric?
Because the concept of identifying people by racial markers was started by Europeans. So my counter is to show me the black people that created this. If you look this way, it's because you come from this or because you come from that. That's my counter question. Go ahead.
You have a counter question.
He this is not anyway, Captain said Bob Marley is an Edomite because his father Edomite. His father probably a Jake. What if it's because you said that you're gonna have Israelites that look like Edomites? How do you know that Bob Marley's father line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? You know what I'm gonna do? Let me do this. I'm gonna show you something. When Jake put a hat on, what do they normally do? Do they tip it to the side? Yes, they tip it to the side normally. Not saying that every Jake does it, but most Jakes tip their hat to the side. A little to the side, right? Bob Marley's father. Bob Marley's father. Okay, let's go to the images. Okay, Narvel Marley. Okay, let me see images. Come on now, because Cap keeps saying, "Oh, he's an Edomite because his father Edomite." You don't know what his father is. And you said there's no, the term is what's the term? For facial features, phenotype. There it goes. Hat tipped on the side. He looked like a white man, but his hat's tipped to the side. Look how you're on that horse. He kind of leaning back on that horse. That's him when he was young, Bob Marley. So Bob Marley could still be an Israelite. Why is that? Because his father could be an Israelite. There's no phenotype. Go to Daniel 12:9 and also go to Revelation 7:9, just to give you two scriptures. Let's come on back. And I would say Bob Marley's mother, which is right here, saw the white man, and she was the white man wanted. One of the angels came down from heaven. Let me see. Oh, that's Bob Marley's sister, a good-looking woman. Yeah, very attractive woman right there. Anyway, let's come on back. This is going nowhere. Let's go and listen to some more of this madness.
To me, asking you to define a term that you used.
Don't be confused. I answered the question. Now answer my question.
Do you understand my point? You have a counter question to you defining a term that you used.
But why you can't answer? You're the one running now.
No, I'm pointing out to you what you're doing. It's ludicrous.
Answer.
You used a term,
but can you answer?
And then I said define it, and now you're giving a counter question. Defining a term is not an argument. That's number one. Defining a term is not an argument. It's just making sure that we're sharing a lexicon to have the conversation. That's number one. Now, number two, let me explain something. Number two, there's certain things that you cannot say that the Europeans discovered it the Europeans created it or the Arabs created it. No, there's some things that are immutable truths. So, for example, if you were to look at the Fulani versus, say, the Zulu or the Xhosa you can see racial differences, even if you look at the Bushmen. And these are subcategories of race, meaning that they have common features. Don't interrupt now. You asked me a question. Don't interrupt now.
You're not answering.
You don't have to interrupt. You asked me a question. So the point I'm making is that that's not a Eurocentric view. That's an obvious biological reality that there are different features based on peoples originating in different lands. So
and it goes, like I said, to the point of the phenotype of an Israelite could look like anybody because they were scattered everywhere and they mixed their seed among every nation every landmass that they went to.
It's actually quite ludicrous to claim it's Eurocentric. Now, here's the even funnier thing for someone like you. You would claim that it's Eurocentric, but everything based on your religion, which is a fake false religion, as all the other ones are as well.
He's got to say it again about the fourth or fifth time, which is a fake. Based upon what? First of all, it's not a religion. We're a nation of people and we have laws. It's not a religion.
Well, all of that comes from Europe. In fact, the language that you read it in is a European language.
Is that a question?
So everything that you're going to share is fundamentally Eurocentric. So I find it ironic that you're challenging me with the very thing that you're victim of.
No, I'm not. Because it different.
Yeah, you use the King James Version Bible. King James was a European king.
King James.
No, we argue that he's a so-called black man. Because you believe that Europeans ruled from the Roman Empire up until Christopher Columbus. You don't understand that. You don't understand what the dark nations or the dark ages is what it was all about. The medieval time was all about. There was a time where Jake took over and beat the so-called white man down. You don't understand that. So you really don't. You're just a college-educated agent.
You read the book in English, which is a European language.
King James.
English came from Hebrew, buddy. The English language stemmed from Latin. Matter of fact, let me ask Google. Give me a second. That's Bob Marley's sister. Let me open it up. Where is she? Where's she? That's a good looking woman right there. That's a fine woman right there. Yeah, she a beautiful woman. Look at that. Look at that. That's Bob Marley's sister. She's a bad mama jamma, just as fine as she can be. That's a fine woman right there, boy. Woo! Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm getting carried away. But I didn't get aroused. I know it's a Sabbath. Anyway, let me do this. Where did I say I was going to go? You see? Okay. He said, you read it from a book written in English. That's a white man's Europeans, because it's European this and European that. You don't know nothing about the truth about that European history. Anyway, let's do this. Let's do this. Origins of the English language. Origins of the English language. Okay, let's see how far it goes back. English originated from West Germanic dialects brought to Britain by Anglo-Saxon invaders. So actually it goes back to German. Anglo-Saxon, Jutes, whatever. I should ask it another way. Does the English language have roots in Hebrew? Okay, they're not giving it to me. Okay, let me ask it this way. The English language came from what language? I guess I asked that wrong. Okay. English comes primarily from West Germanic dialects. So it's German, right? Okay, let me ask this question. What language did the German language come from? Proto-Germanic, Germanic. Okay. What language did the Proto-Germanic language come from? I gotta do it the hard way. Come on now. We're learning here. Okay, Proto-Germanic didn't come from a single parent language. Common ancestor, Europe. Let me ask it this way. Does the German language come from Latin? German language, language descended from Proto-Germanic, while in Latin and Romanic languages, term Germanic and Egypt are related. Does the German language come from the Greek? So where did it come from? Let me do it this way. A history of languages from the English on down. Anglo-Saxon, French, Renaissance, Greek, Latin. There goes Latin. English began as a Germanic tongue, so we mostly speak in German, brought by Anglo-Saxons, involving, Anglo-Saxons coming back to England through Viking invasions, Old North words, the North conquest, French vocabulary for nobility, law, Shakespeare's era, Renaissance, Latin, Greek. So Germany, let me see, standardized, global, cultural, this. Okay, so we took it all the way back to Latin, right? English to German to Renaissance, Latin, Greek to Latin. Where did the Latin language come from? Latin originated as a local dialect in the Latium region of central Italy near the involving italics like Etruscans, eventually spreading Roman. Does the Greek have origins in Hebrew? No, Greek and Hebrew are not from the same language family. Greek is Indo-European, Hebrew is Semitic. The Semitic to Greek. Origins of the English alphabet. Let's try it that way. The English alphabet origins trace back to the Phoenician alphabet. What's the Phoenician alphabet? Hebrew. Let me open this up. Evolution of the alphabet. That's a Hebrew. Lashon Kodash. Traced back to the Phoenician alphabet around 1200 BCE. A consonantal system that spread across the Mediterranean. The people of the Mediterranean spoke Hebrew. Adopted and adopted by the Greeks, who added vowels, and then by the Romans, created the Latin. So now you got it, the Greeks to the Latins. Origins. Origins of the Greek alphabet. Goes back to Hebrew. The Greek alphabet originated from Phoenician consonantal alphabet around 9th and 8th centuries BCE, with Greek adapting the 22 consonant letters of what? Of the Hebrew, right? And making the revolutionary adaptation of dedicated vowel signs. Does the Greek language have its origins in the Hebrew? Greek and Hebrew do not have Greek is Indo-European, related to Latin and English, while Hebrew is Semitic. Okay, then why if the English goes back to the German, and German takes you back to Latin and Greek, the English American alphabet, the origins of this is Hebrew. So they're giving you a lot of bullshit, man. This Greek originated from Hebrew. Let's see what that says. Most linguists today do not regard Hebrew and Greek as genetically related. They had to get the language. They had to get the German language from somewhere. Nobody just jumped up and started speaking German. Let's do this. What is the first written language? Okay, Sumerian, which is cuneiform. Origins of the Hebrew language. All right, Canaanite dialect. And you got the Hebrew right there. See, it depends on how you ask the question, what questions you ask. Okay, is Greek derived from the Hebrew? Let me ask one more question. The Greek language derived from what language? Greek. They ain't giving it to me. Anyway, now the Greek alphabet is 22 alphabets, characters, and the same as the Hebrew. Anyway, shalom.